a friend of mine, you could only get 2 Cs in the program. And the first semester she got 2 Cs, so they kindly asked her to leave. Leave the program because they said this ain't looking good for you. The chances of you improving are slim and none. And then when I worked on my doctorate, you could get an A, a B, or pass, and there was nothing lower than that. So when the standards are raised higher, people will raise their standards, or in Bernice's case, you're gonna raise up on out of there, and a win's a win. For safety. Now, I have said this story before and I will say it again. I served 5.5 years in the military and I worked almost 10 years at Frito-Lay. I was a military police officer. We had a lot of equipment, a lot of weapons, and all kind of things at Frito-Lay. Anybody knows anything about manufacturing, injuries can happen at any given time when you're running 24 hours. I was in the warehouse. We got forklifts. I was a traffic manager, so you do tractor trailers, and even in sales ops, vehicles, not traffic, forklifts, all of that happening. So at any given time, somebody could have gotten injured. And I am here to say that I had no loss of soldiers and no fatal accidents at work or any severe accidents at work in my 15 years of being responsible for other people coming in safe and leaving out safe. Now, I say that to say that those are very safety ridden industries. Like you could literally, somebody could just step off the truck and ice and fall. And so anything was possible. But because I maintain a very, very high standard for safety, I kept my steel toes on. I did pre-shift stretches with everybody, PPE, goggles, hairnet, everything that you needed, even in the military, making sure that we were safe. And then in Toastmasters, setting a very high standard. When I started chartering clubs, working on my Distinguished Toastmaster, I was told you can't make people have educational goals. You can't make them meet them. Toastmasters is a volunteer organization. But we had, in order to get distinguished, select distinguished, and president's distinguished, we needed people getting educational goals. So how do you do that? They said, you can't make it mandatory. You can't. I said, watch this. So chartered the club at the Urban Chamber and gave people a why card, just a 3x5 card, and put why did you join Toastmasters on it and what educational goal were you going to achieve. And once a quarter, as the president of the club, I passed that back out to everybody. And we had the VP of Education making sure that everybody was on track. So we always had above 20 members in the club, and we always had met our educational goals. And people even triple crowned the year that I was president. So setting these expectations. Another expectation that I had, or standard, was that when you could do your icebreaker pitch and icebreaker speech, and you could have a piece of paper. From there, you had to go to a 3x5 card. You could not put more than the information on one 3x5 card, because what it did was people would just write their whole speech down and stand in front of us and read it. And that shit was boring as hell. And I wasn't about to sit there and listen to it. So I taught them my method of how you put a speech on one card, and then you look at the speech. I also told them you are the subject matter expert, the SME for you. So all 10 of your first 10 speeches need to be about you, because now you're not trying to remember information that you're unfamiliar with. Just talk about yourself. At that point, people became accustomed to speaking, and then they could go off and do great things. So we did get select distinguished and president's distinguished while I was there, which is high honors, especially for a club that had just got chartered. And now, Nola, if you're on here, let me know. And then with my daughter, the standards for her, high, always high. Now, when I was raising her, still raising her, because it's an ongoing process. You don't finish till you're dead. So people would tell me you're too hard on her, and why you doing that to her? She's just a child. She needs childhood. She needs childhood. And now the fruits of my labor, I'm enjoying while they're still ripe. And these people trying to figure out what the hell to do with these adult children that won't mind, won't listen, can't do nothing, ain't got no skills or nothing else. So the standard for her has always been high. When she went to meetings, when she went to Toastmasters, she had to compete in table topics with the adults. And she was in elementary school. And that was because that was part of her. She had to do volunteer hours. I think it was 15 hours a year. So she had to volunteer, set up the meetings, go do contests and all of that. And while she was there, hey, you're going to learn how to public speak as well. Going to events and meetings with CFOs of these major corporations here. And she'd have to stand up and do her elevator pitch. She graduated from high school a year early as an honors grad with a 4.0 on the weighted GPA scale. And she has had to do immensely high things. Even in her business, I used to run my finger across the screws. If they weren't flat, I would say tap that right there. Now she has over 1,000 5-star reviews, never asked for one review.